As the first pale light touches the eastern horizon, we find ourselves at the edge of an ancient city where the Silk Road begins its long journey across desert and mountain. The air is cool and still, carrying with it the scent of dust and distant spices, and all around us, a caravan is slowly coming to life. This is a moment that has repeated itself for centuries, a timeless ritual of preparation and departure, and we are here to witness it with quiet reverence. The traders move with practiced ease through the pre-dawn darkness, their movements unhurried and deliberate, knowing that the journey ahead requires patience and careful preparation. Camels shift their weight from foot to foot, their breath visible in the cool air, while bundles of silk and precious cargo are secured with thick ropes and gentle hands. There is no rush here, only the steady rhythm of departure, the ancient dance of travelers who have learned that haste has no place on the Silk Road. We breathe in slowly, taking in the scene before us, the shadowy forms of merchants, the patient animals, the city walls rising behind us like protective guardians. And as the sky begins to brighten, turning from deep indigo to the softest gray, we prepare ourselves for a journey not of distance, but of deep and restful peace. This is where our story begins, at the threshold between city and wilderness, between night and day, between wakefulness and the most gentle, welcoming sleep. Let yourself settle into this moment, feeling the cool morning air on your skin, hearing the soft sounds of preparation all around you. There is nowhere you need to be but here, nothing you need to do but follow along this ancient path. The caravan is almost ready, and soon we will take our first slow steps along the legendary Silk Road, moving toward the safety and comfort of the first Caravanserai, that ancient rest stop that has welcomed countless travelers just like us. For now, we simply stand and breathe, watching the world awaken with a quietness that settles deep into our bones. The caravan begins to move, and we move with it, our pace slow and measured, matching the gentle rhythm of the camel's footsteps. There is something deeply soothing about this speed, the way each step follows the last without urgency, without haste, as if time itself has stretched out and become soft and generous. The path beneath our feet is worn smooth by centuries of travelers, and we can almost feel the presence of all those who have walked this way before us. Merchants and pilgrims, adventurers and families, all following the same ancient route toward shelter and safety. The sun rises gradually behind us, painting the sky in shades of pearl and rose, and the landscape begins to reveal itself. Rolling hills of pale sand, scattered rocks, the occasional twisted tree standing alone against the vast horizon. We breathe in time with our footsteps, slow and steady, feeling ourselves settle into the rhythm of the journey. The sound of the caravan is like a lullaby, the soft padding of camel feet, the occasional jingle of bells, the quiet murmur of traders speaking in low voices. No one speaks loudly here. There is a natural reverence for the peace of the morning, for the stillness that surrounds us. And ahead, still distant but growing slowly clearer, we can see the outline of our destination, the first Caravanserai, a sturdy structure rising from the landscape like a promise of rest. It is built of pale stone that glows softly in the morning light, its walls thick and protective, its gates standing open in welcome. We are not hurrying toward it. We are simply moving in its direction, allowing the journey to unfold at its own natural pace. Each step is an opportunity to release a little more tension, to let go of a little more of the world we left behind. The morning air is warming now, but it is still gentle, still comfortable, carrying with it the timeless quiet of the Silk Road. We walk on, peaceful and unhurried, knowing that rest awaits us and that there is no need to rush toward it. As we draw closer to the Caravanserai, its details become clearer, and we can begin to appreciate the beauty and purpose of its architecture. This is no ordinary building. It is a fortress of rest, designed specifically to provide safety and comfort to travelers like us. The walls are tall and thick, built from blocks of honey-colored stone that seem to hold the warmth of 1,000 sunrises. There are small windows set high in the walls and a large arched gateway that opens into the inner courtyard, and above the entrance there are intricate carvings worn smooth by time and wind. We pass through the gateway slowly, feeling the temperature drop slightly as the thick walls block the warming sun, and we find ourselves in a spacious courtyard that takes our breath away with its simple, practical beauty. The courtyard is large and open, with a well at its center and covered galleries running along all four sides, providing shade and shelter. Other travelers are already here, some tending to their camels, others sitting quietly in the shade, a few preparing food over small fires. There's a sense of community here, but also of peaceful solitude. Everyone respects everyone else's need for rest and quiet. We find a place in one of the galleries, a spot where we can lean back against the cool stone wall and simply observe. The architecture of the Caravanserai is mesmerizing in its simplicity. Strong arches support the roof, creating patterns of light and shadow that shift slowly as the sun moves across the sky. Everything here has been built with care and purpose, every element designed to provide comfort and safety. The stone floor is swept clean, and there are niches in the walls where travelers can store their belongings. We breathe deeply, feeling the stress and tension of the outside world melting away in this protected space. This is what the Caravanserai offers, a pause in the journey, a moment to simply exist without demands or expectations. The sounds around us are soft and repetitive, the splash of water being drawn from the well, the gentle voices of merchants exchanging greetings, the soft breathing of resting camels. Everything moves slowly here, as if the Caravanserai exists in a pocket of time where peace is the only rule. We settle more deeply into our resting place, allowing our eyes to wander slowly around the courtyard, taking in each detail with gentle curiosity. The merchants here are from many different lands, their clothing and features varied and fascinating, yet all united by the same purpose: to rest, to recover, to find shelter from the demands of the journey. Some are unpacking their goods, laying out carpets and spices and bolts of silk for trading. But even these commercial activities are conducted with a slowness and grace that feels almost meditative. There is time here, an abundance of it, and no one seems inclined to waste it in rushing. We watch as one trader carefully pours water for his camels, the liquid catching the sunlight and sparkling briefly before disappearing into the stone trough. We watch as another sits cross-legged in the shade, carefully counting beads on a string, his fingers moving in a rhythm that is hypnotic and soothing. Everywhere we look, there is evidence of the care that has been taken to make this place a true sanctuary. The walls are thick enough to keep out not just danger, but also noise and chaos. Inside the Caravanserai, the world feels hushed and protected. The galleries provide shade that is cool and welcoming, and there are cushions and carpets where travelers can rest their weary bodies. We feel our own body relaxing more completely now, our breathing growing deeper and more regular, matching the peaceful rhythm of the Caravanserai. There is something profoundly comforting about being surrounded by these ancient walls, knowing that they have stood here for hundreds of years, protecting generation after generation of travelers. We are part of a long tradition now, part of a story that stretches back through time, and this knowledge brings with it a sense of connection and peace. The afternoon sun moves slowly across the courtyard, and we move slowly with it, shifting slightly to stay in the shade, adjusting our position with minimal effort. Everything here encourages rest, invites us to let go of the need to be anywhere or do anything. We are safe here, we are welcome here, and we can simply be. As the day slowly mellows into late afternoon, the Caravanserai becomes even more peaceful, if such a thing is possible. The activities of the earlier hours have gradually subsided, and now there is mostly stillness, punctuated by the occasional soft sound, a camel's gentle snort, the distant murmur of conversation, the whisper of a breeze moving through the courtyard. We find ourselves growing drowsy in the best possible way, our eyelids heavy, but our hearts light, feeling completely at ease in this ancient place of rest. The stone wall behind us is solid and reassuring, still holding a bit of the day's warmth, and the air around us is perfectly balanced between warm and cool. We can hear the faint trickle of water from the well, a sound that seems to wash away any remaining tension, any lingering thoughts of the world beyond these walls. This is the gift of the Caravanserai, this complete and total sense of safety and permission to rest. For centuries, travelers have found exactly what we are finding now, a sanctuary from the journey, a place where rest is not just allowed, but celebrated. Our breathing has become very slow and very deep, and we notice with drowsy pleasure how relaxed our body has become, how heavy our limbs feel, how peaceful our mind has grown. The light in the courtyard is golden now, casting long, soft shadows, and everything seems to glow with a gentle amber warmth. Other travelers are resting too, some already asleep, and their peaceful presence adds to our own sense of calm. We are surrounded by rest, immersed in it, and we allow ourselves to sink more deeply into this feeling with each slow breath. The Caravanserai holds us gently in its ancient embrace, and we trust completely in its protection. There is nowhere else we need to be, nothing else we need to do. The first Caravanserai has welcomed us, and here we will rest, knowing that when we are ready, the journey will continue at its own slow, perfect pace. But for now, there is only this moment, this breath, this deep and settling peace. When morning comes again, it comes gently, as all things do along the Silk Road. The light filters through the arched doorways of the Caravanserai, soft and golden, and with it comes the quiet stirring of preparation. The caravan master moves among the merchants with calm authority, his voice low and measured as he speaks of the day ahead. There is no hurry in his words, no urgency. The desert, he knows, will be crossed not through haste but through patience, through the steady rhythm of hooves and breath and time itself. The camels are loaded once more, their great patient bodies swaying slightly as bundles of silk and spices are secured to their backs. Someone hums a melody you half remember, a tune that seems to belong to no particular place but to the road itself. The air is still cool from the night, but you can already sense the promise of heat in the pale sky above, the way the light seems to thicken as the sun climbs higher. And then, with barely a word, the caravan begins to move. The massive wooden gates of the Caravanserai swing open, and you pass through them into the vastness beyond. The change is immediate and profound. Where there was enclosure, now there is space, endless, open, golden space that stretches in every direction until earth and sky become one shimmering line at the edge of the world. The desert unfolds before you like a sea frozen in time, its dunes rising and falling in long, slow waves. The sand is not one color, but many, pale gold and amber and honey, cream and ochre and dusty rose, shifting with every angle of the light. It whispers beneath the camel's feet, a soft, constant sound that becomes part of the silence rather than breaking it. There are no landmarks here, no trees or buildings to mark your progress, only the endless undulation of sand and the vast dome of sky overhead. You settle into the rhythm quickly because there is no other rhythm to follow. The camels move at their own unhurried pace, their long legs lifting and falling with a gentle, rocking motion that sways your whole body. It is like being cradled, like being carried by something much older and wiser than yourself. The merchants walk alongside, their robes flowing softly in the warm breeze, and occasionally one will speak to another in a low voice, but mostly there is only the sound of footsteps and breathing and the whisper of sand. Time begins to lose its edges here. Minutes and hours blend together in the heat and the light and the endless golden sameness. You notice small things, the way a shadow pools at the base of a dune, the track of some small creature that crossed the sand in the night, the distant shimmer of heat rising from the desert floor like invisible water. The sun climbs higher and the air grows warmer, wrapping around you like silk. And yet there is no discomfort in it, because you know, as all travelers on this road have always known, that ahead there will be rest. The desert is vast, but it is not empty. Scattered across its expanse like jewels are the oases, the green sanctuaries where water rises from hidden depths, and beside them, the Caravanserai wait, built of cool stone and ancient knowledge, designed to shelter and restore. You can almost feel the promise of them ahead, pulling you gently forward, even as the rocking motion of the camel, the warmth of the sun, and the endless golden landscape lull you into a state of deep, peaceful calm. There is nothing to do but move forward at this slow, perfect pace, nothing to think about, but the next step, the next breath, the timeless journey, continuing as it always has. The sun reaches its highest point, and the heat settles over the desert like a blanket, thick and enveloping. The light becomes almost white, bleaching the color from the sky until it is pale and infinite. The caravan continues its steady progress, but everything seems to slow even further, as if the heat itself has weight, as if you are moving through something denser than air. And then, at the edge of vision, something appears. At first, it seems like another shimmer, another trick of heat and light, but gradually it solidifies into something real. A darkness in the distance, a green shadow against the gold. The merchants notice it too, and there is a subtle shift in the caravan's energy. Not excitement, exactly, but a quiet recognition, a gentle anticipation. The oasis grows clearer with each step. You can make out the tops of palm trees now, their fronds hanging still in the heat, and beneath them, the darker green of other vegetation, plants that speak of water and life. And beside the oasis, rising from the sand like something eternal, stands a caravanserai. This one is different from the first, built not at the edge of a city, but in the heart of emptiness. Its walls are thick and pale, constructed from local stone that seems to glow softly in the intense light. It sits low and solid, built to withstand not armies but the desert itself, the heat, the wind, the endless patient erosion of time. As you draw closer, you can see the wisdom in its design, the way its walls are positioned to create shade, the small windows placed high to catch the breeze while keeping out the worst of the sun. The caravan reaches the entrance, and you pass from blazing light into cool shadow in a single step. The difference is startling, wonderful. The thick walls have kept the interior spaces temperate, almost cold compared to the furnace outside. The air smells of stone and water, and the faint spice of herbs growing in clay pots. Your eyes adjust slowly to the dimness, and you see the familiar layout, the central courtyard, the covered arcades running along its edges, the rooms opening off them like cells in a honeycomb. But here, the courtyard is dominated by the well. It sits at the center, ancient and deep, its stones worn smooth by centuries of hands drawing up bucket after bucket of precious water. Someone is already there, lowering a vessel on a rope, and you hear the distant splash far below, then the steady rhythm of pulling as the rope comes up hand over hand. When the bucket appears, water sloshing gently at its rim, the sight of it seems almost miraculous. The camels are led to the stone troughs, and they drink deeply, their throats working, their eyes half closed in satisfaction. The merchants gather around the well, waiting their turns patiently, and when you cup your hands and taste the water, it is cool and clean, with a faint mineral sweetness that speaks of deep earth and hidden streams. You drink slowly, feeling it travel down your throat, feeling your body accept it gratefully. Other caravans are here too, having arrived before you, or perhaps staying for a day of rest. Their camels sit in the shade, chewing cud with methodical patience. Merchants have spread carpets in the coolest corners and sit cross-legged, some talking in low voices, others simply resting, their backs against the ancient walls. There is a feeling of community here, a shared understanding among all who travel this road. You are strangers, but you are also the same, all seeking passage, all dependent on these sanctuaries, all grateful for the cool stone and the deep water and the respite from the vast golden world outside. The afternoon passes in a state of profound stillness. No one travels during these hottest hours. It would be foolish, even dangerous. Instead, the Caravanserai becomes a place of suspended time, where travelers rest in the coolest corners and wait for the fierce heat to pass. You find a spot in the shade of the arcade, where a slight breeze occasionally moves through, carrying with it the scent of the oasis palms and the distant perfume of desert flowers that bloom in hidden places. You can hear the quiet sounds of rest all around you, the breathing of camels, deep and slow, the murmur of conversation from across the courtyard, words indistinct, but their rhythm soothing. Somewhere someone is preparing tea, and the scent of it drifts through the air, warm spices and dried herbs, familiar and comforting. You close your eyes and simply exist in this moment, feeling the coolness of the stone wall against your back, the gentle movement of air across your skin. This is the true rhythm of desert travel, you realize. Not the walking, but the resting. Not the journey, but these sanctuaries between. The desert teaches patience because it allows nothing else. It teaches you to move with the land, not against it, to honor the heat and the cold, the vast distances and the precious oases. The Caravanserai are not interruptions of the journey. They are the journey, these moments of rest and restoration, these pauses where life is sustained and community forms in the shared experience of crossing difficult terrain. Time drifts. You may sleep for a while, a light doze that is more like floating than true sleep. When you open your eyes again, the quality of light has changed subtly. The white intensity has softened to gold, and through the high windows, you can see that the sun has begun its slow descent. The heat still presses down, but with less force now, less insistence. One by one, travelers begin to stir. The camels shift and grunt softly. Merchants gather their things with the same unhurried patience with which they rested. There is a sense that soon, when the sun drops lower still, some will continue their journey into the evening coolness. Others will remain here for the night, will eat simple meals and spread their bedrolls in the protected spaces, will watch the stars emerge overhead and tell stories in languages you don't understand, but whose cadences are somehow familiar. You watch a merchant preparing to leave, checking his camel's load with careful hands, adjusting straps and murmuring to the animal in a low, affectionate voice. Another merchant offers him something, dried fruit perhaps, or a blessing, and they clasp hands briefly before parting. It is a small moment, unremarkable, but it carries within it the entire spirit of the Silk Road, the way strangers become companions through shared experience, the way these ancient routes have always been about more than trade, more than goods and gold. They have been about connection, about the threads that bind human beings to one another across vast distances and different worlds. As the afternoon deepens toward evening, you feel no need to make any decision about staying or going. Either choice seems equally right, equally peaceful. The Caravanserai will shelter you for as long as you need. The desert will still be there when you are ready to cross more of it. Everything moves at the pace it needs to move, and you are held safely within that rhythm, protected by thick walls and cool water, and the ancient knowledge of those who built these sanctuaries so many centuries ago, knowing that travelers would always need them, that the human need for rest and safety and water is as eternal as the desert itself. Evening comes to the desert with a gentleness that feels like mercy. The sun descends toward the horizon, and as it does, its color deepens from white to gold to amber to rose. The heat begins to lift, dissipating into the enormous sky, and the air becomes breathable again, soft and welcoming. This is the blessing of desert evenings, the reward for enduring the fierce day, the transformation into coolness and beauty and peace. The oasis beyond the Caravanserai walls comes alive with sound. Birds that sheltered silently through the hot hours now call to one another, their voices bright and musical. Insects begin their twilight singing, a high, gentle drone that rises and falls like breathing. The palm trees rustle as the evening breeze strengthens, their fronds clicking softly against one another in a rhythm that seems ancient beyond measure. Inside the Caravanserai, lamps are being lit. One by one, small flames appear in niches along the walls, in the corners of the courtyard, beside doorways and in windows. They glow warmly, pushing back the gathering dusk, creating pools of golden light that make the space feel even more protected, even more like a sanctuary. The light catches on the faces of merchants as they move through their evening tasks, gilding them softly, making everyone look peaceful and timeless. You join the evening rituals without thinking, because they are simple and soothing and because everyone else is doing the same. There is water to carry, simple meals to prepare, animals to tend. These tasks require no thought, only gentle attention, and they anchor you in the present moment. You watch someone laying out a meal, flatbread and dates, dried apricots and nuts, a little cheese wrapped in cloth, simple food that tastes profound after a day of travel and heat and rest. The act of eating becomes almost ceremonial, each bite savored slowly, chewed thoroughly, swallowed with gratitude. Conversations happen in low voices, and though you may not understand the words, you understand their purpose. People are sharing the day's experiences, offering information about the road ahead, telling stories of other caravans and other journeys. Laughter rises occasionally, soft and warm, never breaking the peaceful atmosphere but enhancing it, reminding you that there is joy even in difficult journeys, that human beings carry light within them wherever they go. The sky deepens through shades of blue, turquoise, cobalt, indigo, and the first stars appear, faint at first, then growing brighter as darkness settles fully over the desert. The temperature continues to drop, and the coolness is delicious against your skin. Someone wraps a blanket around their shoulders. Someone else adds herbs to a small brazier, and fragrant smoke rises in a thin line, barely visible, perfuming the air with sage and something sweeter, something resinous and ancient. You find yourself simply sitting, watching the play of lamplight and shadow on the old walls, listening to the mingled sounds of the Caravanserai settling into night. Quiet footsteps, the clink of tea glasses, the soft snorting of camels, the rustle of fabric as people prepare their sleeping spaces. There is something deeply satisfying about these sounds, about being surrounded by evidence of life and community while still feeling utterly calm, utterly at peace. The moon rises, a curved sliver hanging above the desert, casting its own pale light across the sand beyond the walls. The oasis palms become silhouettes against the sky. And here, within these thick protective walls, with water nearby and lamps glowing and fellow travelers breathing the same air, you feel completely safe, completely held. The desert at night is vast and wild, but you are sheltered from it and by it, both at once, and the feeling is one of profound contentment, of being exactly where you need to be, of resting in the ancient pattern of journey and sanctuary that has sustained travelers for countless generations. Night deepens over the Oasis Caravanserai, and the world narrows to this protected space, these thick walls, this small community of travelers sharing the darkness. One by one, the lamps are extinguished, their flames pinched out gently between fingers, leaving only a few burning to guide anyone who needs to move through the night. The darkness that remains is soft, not absolute, because the stars are so bright here, so numerous, that they cast their own faint silvery light. You can hear people settling into sleep around you. The rustle of blankets being pulled up, the creak of someone shifting to find a comfortable position, the deep sigh of a body releasing into rest. The sounds are intimate but not intrusive, comforting in the way they remind you that you are not alone, that you are part of something larger, a temporary community bound together by the road. The camels have long since ceased moving. They rest in their corner of the courtyard, their breathing deep and rhythmic, occasionally making small sounds in their sleep, gentle grunts and sighs that somehow add to the peacefulness rather than disturbing it. Their presence is reassuring. These patient, sturdy animals who carry so much, who ask for so little, who have been companions to desert travelers since time beyond memory. From beyond the walls comes the night song of the desert. It is quieter than you might expect, but it is there. The distant call of a night bird, the whisper of wind across sand, the rustle of something small moving through the oasis grasses. These sounds do not threaten but soothe, because they are the sounds of life continuing, of the world breathing gently all around you, even as you rest. You arrange your own sleeping place with slow, drowsy movements, spreading a carpet or blanket, positioning yourself where the stone wall can support your back or where you can lie down fully, looking up at the narrow strip of sky visible above the courtyard. Your body feels heavy now, tired in the best way. The kind of tiredness that comes from fresh air and gentle movement, and the satisfaction of having traveled well, having reached sanctuary, having been part of the ancient rhythm of the road. As you lie in the darkness, you think about all the travelers who have rested in this very spot, in this very caravanserai, over the centuries. Thousands of them, perhaps tens of thousands, all seeking the same things you seek now: water, shelter, rest, safety. The walls have stood for so long, protecting so many, and they will stand long after you have gone, continuing their purpose, continuing to offer sanctuary. There is something profoundly peaceful in this thought, in the sense of being part of a pattern much larger than yourself, much older than your own small life. Your breathing slows, deepens, matching the rhythm of the sleeping travelers around you, matching the gentle breath of the camels, matching the slow pulse of the desert night itself. Your thoughts drift like sand, forming and reforming, meaning less and less until they are simply sensations, coolness on your skin, the hardness of the ground beneath you made comfortable by exhaustion and peace, the vast presence of the night, the protection of the walls. The last lamp flickers and goes out. Complete darkness settles over the caravanserai, broken only by starlight, and in that darkness you feel yourself sinking deeper, letting go more fully, releasing into sleep as naturally as the sun released into the horizon hours ago. The oasis is here, the water is here, the shelter is here, and you are here, safe within it all, cradled by the desert, held by the ancient stones, drifting now into dreams that smell of sand and spices and the timeless peace of sanctuaries that have welcomed travelers home for centuries without end. And as the dreams of the desert oasis begin to fade into gentle memory, you find yourself moving onward once more, the caravan stirring with the first light of dawn, preparing for a journey that will carry you upward, always upward, toward the mountains that have been waiting on the horizon like ancient guardians made of stone and sky. The camels are loaded with practiced care, their bells chiming softly in the cool morning air, and the traders wrap themselves in layers of wool and felt, for they know what awaits. The climb into thinner air, into regions where the desert gives way to rock and cloud, where caravanserais nestle in valleys and cling to cliffsides like swallows' nests, offering shelter in the high places of the world. The path begins to rise almost imperceptibly at first, a gentle inclination that makes the camels lean slightly forward, their broad feet finding purchase on ground that grows rockier with each passing hour. The golden sand gradually mingles with gray stone, and small hardy plants begin to appear, tough grasses and low shrubs that somehow thrive where the desert cannot fully reach. The air itself begins to change, growing lighter somehow, cooler against your skin, carrying scents of distant snow and alpine herbs instead of the warm perfume of sand and spice. You breathe it in, this mountain air, and feel your lungs expand with it. Feel the gentle thinness of it, the way it makes you slow down naturally, matching your pace to the patient rhythm of altitude, where everything must happen more deliberately, more quietly, more gently. The caravan spaces itself out along the winding path, each traveler finding their own comfortable speed, and the conversations that filled the desert crossing grow softer now, more intermittent, as if everyone instinctively understands that the mountains call for a different kind of presence. Less chatter, more listening, less hurry, more reverence for the ancient stones that rise around you, like the walls of a temple without a roof. And as the morning wears on, and the path continues its steady ascent, you begin to see the first signs of the high Caravanserais. A distant wall of fitted stone emerging from the mountainside, a flat roof visible in a valley below, a wisp of smoke rising from a chimney that speaks of warmth waiting, of shelter prepared, of human habitation in places where nature seems too vast and powerful for such small comforts. But the Caravanserais are here, have always been here, built by hands that understood the mountains, that knew where to place stone upon stone so that the walls would stand against wind and weather for centuries, offering safety to travelers who would come long after the builders had returned to dust. The sight of these mountain sanctuaries fills you with a quiet anticipation, a sense of approaching rest that makes even the upward climb feel purposeful and right. Each step bringing you closer to the shelter that waits, patient and enduring, ready to receive you as it has received countless thousands before. The caravan reaches the first of the mountain Caravanserai as the sun climbs toward midday, and you pass through gates set into walls that seem to grow directly from the living rock of the mountain itself, as if the builders simply revealed what was always there, coaxing forth shelter from stone. The entrance is narrow and protective, opening into a courtyard that takes your breath away. Not from exertion, though the altitude makes itself known in every breath, but from the sheer beauty of it, the way human craft and natural majesty have married here in perfect harmony. The courtyard is smaller than those of the desert Caravanserai, more intimate, surrounded on all sides by walls of gray and amber stone, fitted together with such precision that no mortar was needed, each piece holding the others in place through nothing but weight and wisdom and time. Above, the sky is a startling blue, deeper and more vivid than any color you've seen in the lowlands, and when you look up, you can see the peaks rising higher still, their summits touched with snow that catches the light like scattered diamonds. The air here is cool and clean, each breath of it tasting of clarity and silence, filling your lungs with something that feels almost like liquid light. The camels are led to a stone trough filled with water that flows from a mountain spring, the sound of it a gentle, constant music, and they drink deeply, gratefully, their long necks curved in graceful contentment. The travelers move slowly through the courtyard, their movements economical and deliberate in the thin air, unpacking what needs unpacking, tending what needs tending, but all of it done with a kind of meditative slowness that the mountains seem to require. You find yourself moving the same way, each gesture simplified, each action given its full measure of time and attention, and there's something deeply restful about this enforced gentleness, this natural slowing that the altitude imposes. Inside the Caravanserai, the rooms are built into the mountainside itself, their walls thick and insulating, their windows small but perfectly positioned to frame views of the valley below or the peaks above. The floors are covered with felt carpets, woven in geometric patterns of cream and dusty blue and rust red, and low wooden platforms serve as beds, piled with blankets of heavy wool that promise warmth when night falls and the mountain cold descends. Everything here speaks of adaptation, of human ingenuity, finding ways to create comfort in the harshest environments. And there's something profoundly reassuring about it, about the evidence all around you that people have been doing this for so long, that the knowledge of how to live well in the mountains has been passed down through generations, refined and perfected until these stone shelters become as welcoming as any palace, perhaps more so, because the welcome here is born of necessity and maintained by tradition, and offered without condition to anyone who arrives at the gate. You settle into the rhythm of the high Caravanserai, feeling your body adjust to the altitude, feeling the pace of your thoughts slow to match the pace of everything around you. As afternoon settles over the mountains, you find yourself drawn to explore the quiet spaces of this high shelter, wandering through corridors carved partially from stone and partially built from it, the walls bearing the marks of countless hands that have touched them in passing. Smooth places where shoulders have brushed, worn spots where palms have rested, the accumulated patina of human presence that makes even rock seem somehow warm and alive. The Caravanserai clings to its cliffs with a confidence that centuries have proven justified, and from certain windows and terraces you can look down into the valley below, watching as shadows move across it with the sun's slow arc, turning stone from amber to gold to purple in the changing light. Other travelers have found these viewing spots as well, standing quietly or sitting on stone benches worn smooth by generations of sitters, and there's a companionable silence among you all, a shared appreciation for the grandeur that surrounds you, the way the mountains make speech feel unnecessary, even intrusive. The wind moves through the valley with a sound like distant breathing, sometimes rising to whistle through cracks in the stone, sometimes falling to barely a whisper, and you find yourself listening to it the way you might listen to music, hearing melodies in its variations, finding rhythms in its patterns. Birds circle far below, eagles or hawks, you think, though from this height they look no bigger than swallows, and their distant cries reach you as faint echoes that somehow add to the sense of vastness rather than filling it. The sun continues its measured descent, and you notice how the light shifts and changes with each passing quarter hour, illuminating first one peak and then another, casting long shadows that stretch across entire mountainsides, painting everything in shades of gold and amber and dusty rose. Inside, someone has begun to prepare a fire in the main hall, and you drift toward it almost without thinking, drawn by the promise of warmth and light and the gathering of fellow travelers that fire always encourages. The hall is built around a central hearth, its chimney rising up through layers of stone to emerge somewhere above, and the smoke that escapes is clean and fragrant. Juniper wood, you realize, the scent of it sharp and resinous, and somehow perfectly suited to these high places. Other travelers begin to arrive as well, settling onto cushions and carpets arranged around the hearth, their faces relaxed and open, ready for the evening ritual of story sharing and quiet conversation that Caravanserais have hosted for as long as caravans have traveled. And as you settle among them, feeling the warmth of the fire on your face and the solid support of stone walls at your back, you feel yourself becoming part of something ancient and ongoing, a tradition of travelers finding rest together in the midst of journeys, sharing warmth and safety, and the simple comfort of not being alone in the vast, indifferent beauty of the world. The stories begin quietly, told in low voices that match the meditative mood, tales of other journeys, other caravanserai, other mountains crossed and valleys traversed, and the words wash over you like gentle waves, their meaning less important than their rhythm, their tone, the way they fill the space between you and create a web of connection and shared humanity. Evening deepens around the caravanserai, and the fire in the hearth burns lower and steadier, its light dancing on stone walls and turning the faces of the gathered travelers into studies of amber and shadow. The stories have faded into silence now, not from any lack of things to say, but from a natural progression toward quietness, toward the contemplative peace that mountains and fire together seem to encourage. Someone adds another piece of juniper wood to the flames, and the scent of it blooms afresh, mixing with the smell of brewing tea, a mountain blend flavored with herbs gathered from the high slopes, mint, and something else you can't quite name, something that tastes of altitude and clarity. Cups are passed around, simple pottery vessels, warm to the touch, and you cup yours in both hands, feeling the heat of it seep into your palms, breathing the fragrant steam, sipping slowly and letting the tea's warmth spread through you from the inside, even as the fire warms you from without. The wind outside has picked up slightly, and you can hear it moving around the caravanserai's walls, probing at corners and sweeping across the flat roof. But the sound of it only makes the shelter feel more secure, more precious, a haven of stillness in the midst of the mountain's constant motion. The thick stone walls keep the cold at bay, and the small, high windows show squares of deepening blue where the first stars are beginning to appear, bright and steady in the mountain dark. Your body feels pleasantly heavy, the altitude and the day's climbing having taken their gentle toll, and there's a deep satisfaction in the tiredness, the kind that knows rest is near, is already beginning in fact, as you settle more deeply into your cushions and let your muscles release their last holdings of tension. Around you, other travelers are doing the same, their conversations now just murmurs, occasional soft words exchanged between neighbors, quiet laughter over some shared observation, but mostly just comfortable silence. The silence of people who are exactly where they need to be, who have reached the day's destination and can finally fully let go. The fire burns on, patient and eternal, needing little tending now, having found its rhythm, its perfect balance of fuel and air and heat. Shadows move slowly on the walls, enlarging and shrinking with the flame's subtle variations, and you find yourself watching them with unfocused eyes, not really seeing them so much as being aware of their gentle motion, the way they create a sense of aliveness without demanding attention, providing just enough visual interest to give your eyes something to rest on while your mind begins to drift. The day's images surface and fade in your thoughts, the climb through changing terrain, the first sight of the caravanserai clinging to its cliff, the courtyard with its stone trough and vivid sky, the view across the valley with its sweeping shadows, and now this, the perfect ending, gathered with fellow travelers around an ancient hearth in a shelter built to outlast empires, feeling yourself held by stone and tradition and the accumulated care of all those who built and maintained these stopping places across impossible terrain. You think about the hands that placed these particular stones, the feet that wore smooth these particular floors, the eyes that watched these same flames dance on these same walls across the centuries, and you feel yourself joining that long chain of travelers, becoming part of the story of this place, adding your own brief presence to its ongoing tale. And as the evening deepens toward true night, you find yourself moving toward your sleeping quarters, walking slowly through corridors grown familiar in just these few hours, your hand trailing along stone walls that still hold a whisper of the day's warmth. The room prepared for you is simple and perfect. Thick walls, small window, the platform bed piled high with woolen blankets that smell of mountain air and cedar. You arrange yourself beneath their heavy comfort, feeling the weight of them as a reassurance, a gentle pressure that helps you release the last holdings of the day, the last small tensions that keep you tethered to wakefulness. Through the small window, you can see a section of night sky so crowded with stars it looks less like darkness with points of light and more like light with pools of shadow. And you understand why ancient travelers navigated by these skies, why they seemed to write destinies in these patterns. Because up here in the mountains, the stars feel close enough to touch, bright enough to illuminate not just the physical world, but something interior as well. The wind continues its conversation with the Caravanserai, whistling softly through gaps and around corners, but inside, all is still and protected. The stone walls doing what they've done for centuries, holding back the mountain night, creating a pocket of warmth and safety where sleep can come easily. You close your eyes and find that the darkness behind your lids is filled with the day's soft images, mountain paths and stone courtyards, distant peaks and near fires, the faces of fellow travelers, and the endless patient presence of rock and sky. Your breathing slows naturally, deeply, matching some rhythm that the mountains themselves seem to keep, some ancient pulse that underlies all the surface changes of wind and weather and season. You are held here, cradled by stone and altitude, and the accumulated goodwill of all the travelers who have rested in this place before you, all the caretakers who maintained it, all the builders who raised these walls with such skill and care. The Caravanserai breathes around you, the soft settling sounds of an old building, the distant murmur of other travelers finding their own rest, the whisper of wind, and the deep underlying silence of mountains that have stood since before humans walked, that will stand long after. And you let yourself dissolve into that vastness, becoming not smaller, but somehow more expansive, as if the mountains are teaching you their own patience, their own eternal stillness that allows all motion to pass through without disturbing the fundamental peace beneath. Your body grows heavy and light at once, anchored by wool and stone and altitude, freed by the thinness of mountain air and the depth of your exhaustion and the perfect safety of this ancient shelter. Sleep is no longer something coming toward you, but something you are sinking into, have perhaps already entered, the boundary between waking and dreaming as blurred and beautiful as the line between earth and sky at this altitude. The wind whispers through ancient stones, the stars wheel slowly overhead, and you rest here in the heights, held by mountains, sheltered by walls that have protected travelers through centuries, drifting now into dreams as high and clear as the peaks themselves, dreams that taste of thin air and juniper smoke, dreams where you walk forever upward into peaceful silence. But now the light begins to shift and soften, the high mountain clarity giving way to something warmer, gentler, as twilight descends upon the Caravanserai like a silk veil settling over ancient stone. The sun, which blazed so bright at these altitudes, now slides behind the distant peaks, painting the sky in layers of amber and rose and deepening blue, and you feel yourself descending too, not in space, but in tempo, your breath slowing to match the quieter rhythm of evening, that sacred hour when the journey pauses and rest becomes the only destination. The courtyard below stirs with the familiar movements of arrival's end and shelter's beginning, each gesture purposeful yet unhurried, as travelers who have crossed deserts and climbed mountain passes now turn their attention to the evening rituals that have sustained caravans for 1,000 years. Camels are being led to their designated spaces along the outer walls, their great patient forms moving with that distinctive swaying gait, necks extending forward and then back, legs folding beneath them with sighs that sound almost human as they settle onto the worn ground. Their handlers move among them with practiced hands, loosening the elaborate harnesses, lifting away the heavy cargo with movements repeated so many times they have become meditation. And you watch as bundles of silk and spices, copper vessels, and rolled carpets are carried to storage rooms while the camels shake themselves, sending up small clouds of dust that catch the last horizontal rays of sunlight. Water is brought in leather buckets, and the sound of camels drinking is slow and rhythmic, a gentle splashing and gulping that speaks of thirst satisfied, of need met, of the deep relief that comes when the body receives what it has longed for through hours of travel. Across the courtyard, merchants are unrolling their sleeping carpets in the alcoves and chambers that line the walls, choosing their spots with the wisdom of experienced travelers. some near the central fountain, where the sound of water will lull them to sleep, others in corner spaces where stone meets stone and the walls embrace them on two sides. Bundles are untied, provisions are laid out, and you sense the collective exhaling of the caravan, that moment when forward momentum ceases and the present moment expands to fill all available space. A young boy moves through the courtyard with a taper, lighting the oil lamps that hang from iron hooks along the covered walkways, and one by one small flames bloom in the deepening dusk, warm points of amber light that push back the shadows just enough to create pockets of gentle illumination. The quality of light changes everything, no longer the bright exposure of day, but something intimate, something that invites quiet conversation and inward turning, and you feel yourself turning inward too, following the light down into stillness. Smoke begins to rise from cooking fires in the communal kitchen area, thin ribbons of gray that carry the scent of lentils and bread, cumin and wood smoke. Simple fare prepared with simple movements, stirring and tasting, adding water, breaking bread, the eternal gestures of nourishment that connect this evening to every evening that has ever been, every twilight that has ever invited rest. And in this hour between day and night, you rest in the courtyard of transition, breathing the cooling air, watching the lamps bloom like flowers, listening to the quiet sounds of settlement, of arrival, of the caravan gathering itself into stillness. The rhythm of evening deepens and slows as the sky darkens from amber to indigo to the deep blue black of mountain night, and stars begin to appear. First one, then three, then suddenly too many to count, scattered across the vast dome above the Caravanserai like salt spilled on dark cloth. You lie back now, finding your own resting place among the travelers, perhaps on a carpet spread in an alcove where the stone wall still holds the faint warmth of the day's sun, or near the fountain, where water spills in an endless, changeless rhythm from one basin to the next, each drop part of a pattern so old it has worn grooves into the stone. Around you, the sounds of evening continue their gentle unfolding, the soft clink of copper bowls being set down, the murmur of conversation in languages you don't need to understand because the tone tells you everything, voices low and relaxed, occasionally punctuated by quiet laughter that ripples through the courtyard like a breeze through wheat. A merchant nearby is tending to his prayer beads, the wooden spheres clicking softly as they pass through his fingers, one after another, the sound becoming a kind of audible breathing, a rhythm that seems to slow time itself. Across the courtyard, a woman is brushing her daughter's long dark hair, each stroke measured and tender, repeated again and again in a pattern that needs no variation, the brush moving from crown to ends, while the child sits perfectly still, eyes half closed in that particular peace that comes from being cared for. You watch these small rituals through half-lidded eyes, your own breathing falling into synchrony with the courtyard's collective rhythm, and you begin to notice how everything here moves in patterns, in cycles, in repetitions that comfort rather than bore, because they are the shape that rest takes, the form that peace requires. Even the camels have their rituals. One by one, they settle their heads onto their folded legs, necks curved in elegant arcs, eyes blinking slowly, more slowly, then closing as they surrender to stillness. Their handlers make final rounds, checking water buckets, adjusting a blanket here, securing a rope there, movements that speak of duty fulfilled with care, of responsibility met with gentleness. The fountain continues its eternal song, water falling from the upper basin to the lower, from the lower to the pool, from the pool back again through hidden channels in a circulation that mirrors breath, that mirrors blood, that mirrors all the rhythms that sustain life without thought or effort. You let your gaze rest on the oil lamps, watching how their flames move in the slight breeze, dancing but never departing, held to their wicks by some ancient agreement between fire and fuel. The smoke rises straight and then begins to waver, drawing invisible calligraphy on the air, messages written in scent and dissipating even as they form. Somewhere in the chambers behind you, someone is playing a simple flute, just a few notes repeated in a pattern that rises and falls like breathing, like walking, like water flowing, and you don't follow the melody so much as allow it to follow you, to trace the shape of your own settling, your own descent into rest. The conversations around you are growing quieter, words giving way to longer silences, voices softening to murmurs, murmurs fading to whispers, and in the spaces between words, you can hear the deeper sounds. The crackle of dying fires, the distant call of a night bird in the mountains, the rustle of cloth as travelers wrap themselves in blankets against the cooling air. And you wrap yourself too, not just in cloth, but in this atmosphere of communal rest, in the knowledge that you are one among many who have found shelter here, who have completed the day's journey and earned the night's repose, who have nothing to do now but surrender to the ancient hospitality of stone walls and starlight. Time itself seems to have entered the Caravanserai, not as a force that pushes forward, but as a presence that spirals inward, circling the courtyard like the smoke from the oil lamps, curling into corners, settling into stillness. The activities of evening have reached their slowest expression now. Meals have been eaten with quiet gratitude, hands have been washed in the fountain's cool water, prayers have been whispered toward Mecca, or murmured to other gods, or simply thought in the universal language of thankfulness that needs no direction. You watch through drowsy eyes as a merchant folds his prayer mat with deliberate care, smoothing each crease, aligning each corner. The simple task taking minutes, because here now, there is no reason to hurry, no destination calling, only this moment and then the next moment, which will be almost identical. And this is not monotony, but mercy, the gentlest possible cradle for consciousness. Near the entrance gate, the Caravanserai keeper makes his final rounds, checking that the heavy wooden doors are secured, that the lamps are safely placed, that all who sought shelter have found it, and his movements are those of a man performing a ceremony handed down through generations, each gesture meaningful, each pause intentional. He stops by each group of travelers, offering a word of welcome, a nod of acknowledgement, and you see how his presence completes something, how his watchfulness allows others to release their own vigilance and sink more deeply into rest. This is the ancient contract of the Caravanserai. You bring your weariness, we provide safety. You bring your vulnerability, we offer protection. You bring your need for rest, we create the conditions for sleep. And you feel that contract settling over you like a blanket. Warm and certain, proven by centuries, by thousands upon thousands of travelers who closed their eyes in just this way, in spaces just like this, and woke to the blessing of another day. The boy who lit the lamps earlier now sits near his father, learning the merchant trade through osmosis and observation, watching how carpets are folded, how coins are counted and secured, how goods are inventoried with fingers moving across surfaces, checking for damage, noting what was sold and what remains. But even this work is winding down, attention fragmenting into drowsiness, and soon the father simply rests his hand on his son's shoulder, and they sit together in silence, looking at the stars that have now filled the entire visible sky with their ancient light. You look up too, and the stars seem closer here in the mountains, brighter, more present, as if the altitude has lifted you nearer to the realm they inhabit. That vast darkness punctuated by distant fires that left their sources before empires rose and fell, before the Silk Road was even imagined, before stone was first stacked upon stone to create shelter. And yet here you are, beneath those same stars that shone on the first travelers, resting in patterns that predate history, breathing the same mountain air, feeling the same cool night breeze that has always risen when day departs. Around you, the courtyard is transforming from a place of activity to a place of stillness, travelers shifting from motion to motionlessness, conversations fading into silence, punctuated only by the occasional murmur, the soft rustle of fabric, the quiet sigh of satisfaction. Someone coughs gently, then falls silent. Someone shifts position on their carpet, finding that perfect alignment of body and surface that allows release. Someone pulls their blanket higher against the mountain chill, the gesture slow and dreamy, already half asleep. And you make your own adjustments, your own small movements toward comfort, letting your head find its resting place, letting your shoulders drop, releasing the tiny tensions that have accumulated through the day, like dust, shaking them off, breathing them out, allowing them to dissipate into the night. The oil lamps are burning lower now, their flames shorter, their light softer, and in an hour or two, they will gutter out entirely. But for now, they provide just enough illumination to make shadows friendly, to make darkness a companion rather than a threat. The fountain continues its song, never tiring, never varying, and you realize this sound will accompany you through the entire night, that it will weave through your dreams like a thread of silver, connecting you to this place, to this moment, to this ancient pattern of rest. In this deep hour of evening, when night has fully arrived but sleep has not yet claimed everyone, you rest in the space between waking and dreaming, that threshold state where the courtyard around you becomes both more vivid and more distant, where sounds reach you through layers of softness, where time stretches like honey poured from a jar, golden and slow and sweet. Your body has found its position of rest and no longer needs to adjust or shift. You are held by the carpet beneath you, supported by the wall behind you, covered by the blanket over you, and these simple points of contact become an entire world of sensation, enough to occupy awareness without demanding attention. The night air moves across your face, cool and clean, carrying scents from far away. The high peaks where snow never melts, the cedar forests that cling to mountain slopes, the desert that stretches beyond the next range, endless and patient. You breathe in these scents and they become part of you, molecules that have traveled vast distances now entering your lungs, your blood, becoming temporarily incorporated into the substance of your being before you exhale them back to the night. Around you, the other travelers are settling deeper into sleep, their breathing becoming more audible as it slows and deepens, and you can hear this collective respiration as a kind of music, a subtle rhythm that rises and falls, that synchronizes without intention, that creates a field of shared rest. Someone near you is already dreaming, making small sounds, soft murmurs that mean nothing and everything, and you wonder what they see behind their closed eyes. Perhaps they walk again on familiar streets in distant cities, or perhaps they travel roads that never existed, that form and dissolve with dream logic, leading always toward home. The camels too are fully settled now, their large forms dark and still along the courtyard walls, their breathing slow and deep, each exhale a soft rumble that you feel as much as hear. They have carried their burdens across impossible distances, and now they rest with the completeness of creatures who know how to surrender, who harbor no resistance to what is, who meet fatigue with sleep as naturally as they meet thirst with water. There is something deeply peaceful in their stillness, something that teaches without words, and you feel yourself learning this lesson, letting go of whatever small tensions remain, whatever tiny threads of thought still try to weave themselves into plans or memories or concerns. Let them go, the night whispers. Let them unravel. Rest does not require thinking. The fountain continues its eternal conversation with itself, water speaking to water in a language older than words, and you let this sound fill the spaces where thought used to be. Let it wash through your mind like rain through an empty bowl, leaving everything clear, clean, simple. The oil lamps are growing dimmer, their fuel nearly spent, their flames shortening to glowing embers that cast more shadow than light. And this is perfect, this is right, because darkness is not an absence, but a presence, not a lack, but a fullness. The rich, deep darkness that held the universe before stars were born. The darkness that still holds everything between the points of light, the darkness that cradles sleep. You close your eyes, and the darkness behind your lids is the same darkness that surrounds the Caravanserai, is the same darkness that fills the valleys and wraps the peaks, and you are not separate from it, but part of it, a small consciousness resting in the vast consciousness of night. The conversations have all ceased now, the last murmurs fading to silence, and what remains is pure sound without human voice. The fountain's song, the wind's whisper, the occasional rustle of fabric, the breathing of sleepers, the distant call of night creatures in the mountains, all weaving together into a soundscape that doesn't demand listening but simply surrounds you, holds you, rocks you gently in its invisible arms. And you rock too, not in body but in being, swaying softly on the edge of sleep, dipping into it and rising back, dipping deeper and rising less, each oscillation taking you further into that realm where the courtyard and your dreams become one place, where the stars overhead shine inside you too, where rest becomes not something you do, but something you are. And now you have arrived at the deepest part of evening, the hour when rest completes itself, when the day's journey dissolves completely into the night's stillness, when even the distinction between traveler and shelter begins to blur because you are no longer someone seeking rest but rest itself, no longer occupying the Caravanserai but becoming part of it, another stone in its ancient walls, another breath in its accumulated silence. The courtyard is almost completely dark now, the oil lamps reduced to the faintest glimmers, barely enough to trace the outline of arches and doorways, and this near darkness is a gift, an invitation, the final gentle insistence that you let go of seeing, let go of knowing, let go of being awake. All around you, sleep has claimed the caravan, merchants and their families, handlers and their animals, travelers from every direction now united in this one direction, this inward turning, this surrender to rest that needs no map, because the body knows the way, has always known, will always know. The breathing that surrounds you is so slow now, so deep, that it seems to come from the earth itself, from the mountains that breathe stone breath over millennia, from the desert that exhales heat all night after storing it all day, from the eternal breathing of the world that continues whether we notice or not, that held us before we were born and will hold us after we're gone, that holds us now with perfect attention and perfect indifference, which are perhaps the same thing. You breathe with this breathing, no longer directing your breath, but allowing it to happen, allowing your chest to rise because air enters, allowing it to fall because air leaves. The whole process, ancient and automatic and endlessly reliable, something you can trust completely, something you can surrender to without fear. The fountain has become the heartbeat of the night, its rhythm so constant it seems to exist outside time, and you realize it has been here long before you arrived and will continue long after you depart. That it has sung this same song to thousands of travelers, each one certain that the sound was meant for them, and they were all correct, just as you are correct now. Because this is the magic of water and stone. They give themselves completely to each moment, to each listener, holding nothing back, requiring nothing in return. Your thoughts, which have been slowing and simplifying for hours, now become less like thoughts and more like feelings, less like feelings and more like sensations, less like sensations and more like presence, that quality of being here that needs no content, no story, no meaning beyond itself. You are present in the courtyard at night, resting among travelers who rest among stars, held by walls that have held so many, breathing air that has been breathed by countless others. And this is not lonely but profoundly companionable. This is the deepest form of human connection. Shared rest, shared vulnerability, shared surrender to the needs of the body and the wisdom of sleep. The darkness is complete now, the lamps extinguished, and in this darkness you are safe, protected by stone and custom, by the ancient traditions of hospitality that make the Caravanserai a sacred space, a threshold between the danger of the journey and the peace of arrival, a place where what you carry can be set down, where who you have had to be can be temporarily forgotten, where sleep can take you as completely as it wishes, as deeply as you need, into dreams or beyond dreams, into that pure rest that requires no images, no narratives, just the body repairing itself, the mind releasing itself, the spirit resting in the arms of something larger, older, infinitely patient. And you rest now completely, finally, letting the night take you, letting the courtyard hold you, letting the centuries of shelter and safety that have accumulated in these stones flow into you and through you, letting the fountain's song become your breathing, letting the darkness become your seeing, letting sleep become your traveling. The only journey that matters now, the only destination, drifting, settling, releasing into the eternal rest that waits in every caravanserai, in every stopping place, in every moment when we finally, gratefully, beautifully allow ourselves to stop. And in this stopping, in this beautiful surrender, night deepens around you like a gentle embrace. The Caravanserai settles into its ancient rhythm, the rhythm it has held for centuries, for generations beyond counting, a rhythm of rest so deep and profound that it seems to rise from the very stones themselves. The courtyard grows still, deeply still, the kind of stillness that holds you safely, that wraps around you like the softest blanket. The travelers who journeyed with you through desert and mountain now rest in their chambers, their breathing slow and steady, a quiet symphony of sleep that fills the air with peace. You can sense them all around you, these fellow journeyers, each one released into their own dreams, their own gentle drifting, and you are part of this community of rest. This gathering of those who have traveled far and now, finally, gratefully, lie down to sleep. The walls around you are thick and strong, built from stone that has stood for centuries, stone that has sheltered countless thousands of weary travelers, and these walls hold you now with that same ancient protection. Nothing can disturb you here. Nothing can reach you. You are held in a space that exists beyond worry, beyond effort, beyond anything but this deep, abiding rest. The darkness is complete now, soft and velvety, a darkness that soothes rather than frightens, that invites you deeper into sleep with every breath you take. Above, through the open gallery that surrounds the courtyard, you can see the night sky, vast and infinite, scattered with stars that shine with a light that has traveled across unimaginable distances to reach you here, in this moment, in this perfect place of rest. The stars are constant, unchanging, the same stars that travelers have gazed upon for thousands of years as they rested in places just like this, and there is comfort in that continuity, in knowing that you are part of something timeless, something that connects you to all those who have rested before and all those who will rest after. The air is cool and gentle against your skin, carrying with it the faint scent of stone and sand, of distant spices and the smoke from fires long since extinguished. And these scents are the perfume of rest, the fragrance of a place dedicated entirely to peace. Your body sinks deeper into your resting place, every muscle releasing, every tension dissolving, as if the earth itself is gently drawing you downward, inviting you to let go completely, to trust in the support that holds you. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to think about or remember or plan. This moment is complete in itself, perfect in its simplicity, and you are held within it like a precious thing, protected and safe and deeply, deeply at peace. The night deepens still further, and with it, your rest deepens too, layer upon layer of peace settling over you like the finest silk. In the chambers around the courtyard, the breathing of sleeping travelers creates a gentle rhythm, a soft rising and falling that becomes like waves upon a distant shore, regular and soothing, a sound that asks nothing of you except that you listen, that you let it carry you deeper into your own rest. Each breath they take seems to echo your own breathing, and you find yourself synchronizing with this collective rhythm, breathing with these ancient companions, your chest rising and falling in time with theirs, all of you together in this dance of rest, this shared surrender to sleep. The camels in the stable area, beyond the courtyard, are settled now too, their large forms still and quiet, occasionally shifting with a soft rustle of straw, a gentle sound that speaks of contentment, of animals who have been fed and watered and who now rest as deeply as their human companions. Even they are part of this symphony of sleep, this gathering of all living things into the embrace of night. The stone beneath you, the stone that forms the floor and walls of this ancient structure, holds the warmth of the day, releasing it slowly, gently through the cool night hours, and this warmth rises up to meet you, a subtle gift from the earth itself, as if the building breathes with you, as if it too participates in this ritual of rest. Time becomes meaningless here, flowing like water, like sand, impossible to grasp or measure, and there is such freedom in this dissolution of time, such relief in no longer needing to track the hours or count the moments. There is only this eternal now, this present moment that stretches backward into history and forward into dreams, all existing together in this single breath, this single heartbeat of peace. The stars above continue their slow wheel across the sky, moving in patterns so ancient that they predate memory itself, and watching them, or sensing them, even with your eyes closed, you feel connected to that vastness, to that infinite patience, to the understanding that all things unfold in their own time, that rest comes when it comes, that sleep arrives like a faithful friend, without force, without effort, simply appearing when the conditions are right, and the conditions are right now. Everything is aligned for your deepest rest. The place is safe. The hour is perfect. Your body is supported. Your mind is quiet. There is nothing standing between you and sleep now. Nothing at all. Just this gentle descent into darkness. This willing release into dreams. This beautiful, inevitable drifting that requires nothing from you but your permission, your willingness to let go and fall. And you fall, gently, softly, like a feather released to the wind, like a leaf settling onto still water. There is no impact, no jarring arrival, only this continuous, flowing descent into deeper and deeper levels of peace. The sounds of the night become your lullaby, so subtle you can barely perceive them, yet they weave together into a tapestry of tranquility that surrounds you completely. From somewhere far beyond the Caravanserai walls comes the whisper of wind across sand, or perhaps across mountain stone, a sound so distant and soft that it seems more like a memory of sound than sound itself. And it speaks to something ancient in your soul, something that recognizes this as the voice of the earth singing you to sleep. Occasionally, so very occasionally, there might be the tiny sound of settling stone, the building adjusting to the temperature of night, minute shifts in ancient architecture that have been happening every night for centuries, and these small sounds are deeply comforting, evidence that the structure around you is alive in its own way, still standing, still protecting, still fulfilling its purpose after all this time. Your breathing has slowed now, become so gentle and shallow that you barely notice it, each breath arriving and departing like a secret, like a prayer whispered in darkness. And with each exhalation, you release a little more, let go a little further, sink a little deeper into this rest that has no bottom, no end, only layer upon layer of peace, stretching down into infinite softness. Your heartbeat is slow and steady, a reliable drum in the center of your being, and it beats in time with the hearts of all the other sleepers around you, all of you connected by this most basic rhythm, this pulse of life that continues whether you attend to it or not, that asks nothing of you, that simply is, steady and sure and eternally constant. The darkness behind your closed eyelids is complete now, soft and velvety, filled with nothing but the potential for dreams, and you float in this darkness like a swimmer suspended in warm water, held and supported and perfectly safe. There is no separation between you and the night anymore, no boundary where you end and the darkness begins. You have dissolved into peace itself, become one with this ancient place and this timeless moment. The protective walls of the Caravanserai hold you like loving arms, and you trust them completely. Trust the stones and the sky and the silence to keep you safe through all the hours of night. Everything that brought you here, all the journeying, all the miles traveled, all the experiences gathered, all of it has led to this moment, this perfect arrival at rest, and there is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do or become or accomplish. You are exactly where you belong, held in the embrace of night, cradled by the centuries, drifting in the same peace that has held travelers since the ancient roads were first walked. The night holds you now, completely and tenderly, and in this holding, there is nothing but peace, nothing but the deepest rest. The stars above continue their ancient journey across the sky, so slow that no eye can detect their movement, yet moving nonetheless, faithful to patterns set down at the beginning of time, and you are held in that same faithfulness, that same eternal patience. Sleep is not something you reach for now, not something you try to achieve or work toward. Sleep simply is, surrounding you, filling you, becoming you, until there is no difference between your consciousness and the great ocean of rest that has always existed, always been waiting for you to return to it. The breathing of the other travelers has become like the breathing of the earth itself, slow and deep and rhythmic, a tide that rises and falls with such regularity that it becomes invisible, becomes simply the way things are, the natural state of all things when darkness falls and the day's work is complete. You breathe with them, breathe with the earth, breathe with the stones and the stars, and the silent vastness of the night sky, all of you together in this great respiration, this cosmic exchange of breath that connects every living thing. Your body has become weightless now, or perhaps infinitely heavy, sunk so deep into rest that you can no longer tell where your physical form ends and the surface beneath you begins. You are merged with the earth, with the ancient floor of the Caravanserai, with the very foundations of this place that has held so many weary travelers before you. And like them, you are held, perfectly and completely, held in a way that requires nothing from you, that asks only that you receive, that you accept this gift of rest that has been offered to travelers throughout all of human history. The darkness is complete, soft, embracing, filled with nothing but peace and the infinite potential of dreams that will come or not come. It doesn't matter, because rest itself is enough. This stillness is enough. This moment of perfect safety and perfect letting go is more than enough. The walls stand their eternal watch, patient and strong, and you trust them completely. Trust the architecture and the night and the ancient wisdom that created places like this, sanctuaries of rest scattered across the old roads of the world. Time has stopped, or perhaps you have simply stepped outside of time into a space where hours and minutes have no meaning, where there is only this eternal now, this moment of rest that has always been and will always be, unchanging and perfect. You sink deeper, deeper still, past thought, past awareness, past anything that could be called consciousness, down into the great darkness that is also a great light, the place where all beings go when they truly rest, when they truly release their hold on waking life and surrender to the mystery of sleep. And in this place, beyond words, beyond thought, you rest. You rest as the stones rest, as the stars rest in their courses, as the earth rests in the silence between one breath and the next. The Caravanserai holds you in its ancient arms, these walls that have stood for centuries, that have sheltered countless souls on their journeys, that will stand for centuries more, patient and strong and infinitely kind. You are safe here, safer than you have ever been, held in a protection that transcends the physical, that reaches back through time to connect you with all those who have rested here before, and forward through time to all those who will rest hereafter. All of you part of this great chain of rest, this timeless tradition of laying down your burdens and allowing yourself to sleep. The breathing around you is so soft now, so gentle, that it barely disturbs the air, just the faintest whisper of life continuing, of bodies resting and renewing themselves, of the great work of sleep unfolding in darkness and silence. Your own breathing has become almost imperceptible, each breath arriving like a gift, like grace, requiring nothing from you, no effort, no attention, simply happening as naturally as the stars shine, as naturally as the night embraces the earth. There is nothing left to release now, nothing left to let go of, because you have already released everything, already let go of all of it. The day, the journey, the thoughts, the worries, the plans, the memories, all of it dissolved into the darkness like salt into water, leaving behind only this pure, clear, perfect rest. The night will hold you through all the hours until dawn, and even beyond dawn, holding you as long as you need to be held, protecting your sleep with the same patience it has shown to generations beyond counting. You are part of something ancient here, something that reaches beyond your individual life into the great story of humanity itself, the story of travelers and journeys and the blessed stops along the way, the Caravanserai of the world, where we lay down our burdens and remember what it means to simply be, to simply rest, to simply exist in peace. The stars wheel overhead, so distant and yet so present, their light touching you softly, blessing you with their ancient constancy, and you rest beneath them, as travelers have always rested, as travelers will always rest. Part of the eternal rhythm of journey and arrival, of movement and stillness, of waking and sleeping. And now you sleep. Deeply, completely, perfectly, you sleep, held by the night, held by the stones, held by the centuries of peace that have accumulated in this place like treasure, like gold more precious than any that traveled the Silk Road, the gold of rest, of safety, of dreams, of the deep and healing darkness that restores all things. Sleep now, sleep deeply, sleep peacefully. You are held, you are safe, you are home, here in this ancient stopping place, this sanctuary of rest, this Caravanserai of the soul, where you can finally gratefully, beautifully rest. Sleep. Thank you for listening tonight. If this story helped you drift off, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more calming stories. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time.